Alright guys, so what I want to do now is I want to cover how, what is cryptocurrency and how does it achieve value? Where does the value even come from on a cryptocurrency? So we're looking at an article here. It says how cryptocurrencies are changing finance. And I'm not really interested in most of this article, but I do want to go over this part here. And it says one element that sets cryptocurrencies aside from regular currency is the fact that they are not regulated by a governing body such as a bank or government. Because of this decentralization, those who use the currencies feel like they have more freedom than using a government issued or fiat currency. Fiat currencies such as the US dollar or British pound are influenced by governments in various ways such as inflation, and a variance between fiat currency and cryptocurrency is the way that fiat currency is circulated. Issuing entities can control circulation, opting to print more or less of a currency. This affects the value and can lead to inflation or more purchasing power. On the other hand, the majority of cryptocurrencies have a finite supply, which eliminates the possibility of over circulating a specific one. So, two things to pick up here: decentralization, taking away centralization. That is what cryptocurrencies do. That's what crypto in general does. So rather than having a central bank determine the value of a currency, in cryptocurrency, it is determined by decentralization. Now, decentralization can mean several different things. You can have a central entity controlling a cryptocurrency, but at the exact same time, it can still be decentralized. In other words, if you take something like Ripple, the company, right, that operates using the XRP ledger, which are two separate things. You have Ripple, the company, and then you have XRP, the ledger, with the XRP token. Ripple itself is centralized, but anybody, anywhere on this earth, can create a node to run on that XRP network. And because of these nodes that are all over the earth, right, they're not in one specific place, therefore it is not centralized. In other words, if a node here goes down in America and you have another node over here in Australia and another node in Russia and another node in China and another node in London and another node here and another node there, it won't go down. Just because one of the nodes goes down, it's not centralized on that node. It is decentralized, distributed amongst all of the nodes, and all of them coming to consensus. In other words, all of them coming to agreement on what transactions have taken place and putting it on the ledger. Right now, if the central bank were to go down, say the Federal Reserve in the United States, a foreign entity, if it were to go down, then the entire financial landscape would collapse, at least until it came back up. With cryptocurrency, that's not the case. Cryptocurrency runs on these various types of nodes, and because of these distributed nodes that are all over the earth, there's no way to take it down unless each and every single node everywhere goes down all at the exact same time, which is very, 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 very unlikely. Basically, you would have to have a cataclysmic event that is earth-wide, earth-encompassing, and if that were to take place, we have bigger problems than a system going down. Okay, you're now at a situation where survival is all that matters. So, in other words, there's never going to be an ability to take down all of the nodes all over the earth. So, that's one form of decentralization. All right, so in that form, you can have a central entity and it still be decentralized. Then you can have what people consider true decentralization. Like, for example, they like to talk about Bitcoin being truly decentralized. There is no central entity whatsoever involved in Bitcoin. There was Satoshi Nakamoto, which we're not going to really get into that, but we know that goes back to the NSA. The NSA and uh, David Schwartz and the patent that he had. But basically, it comes out of the CIA, right? We also know that Ripple, I mean not Ripple, but XRP, the XRP ledger was created actually before Bitcoin, but they needed to get blockchain and distributed ledger technology out to the public. And so they created this Bitcoin to get the ball rolling. Now, I personally, this is just me, I personally believe white hats created the uh, distributor ledger technology. They understood the petrodollar, they understood the scam and the things that have gone on in the past that brought forth this foreign entity central bank in the United States and really all over the earth. And they needed a way to move out of that as they collapsed the old system and bring us into the new world. They needed a way to destroy that system but have something in place that would bring freedom to the people. And so Bitcoin was born and came about. And it came about through Satoshi Nakamoto, a mysterious figure. Nobody knows who they are, right? Now you do some deep research and you kind of get ideas of who that might have been. But in reality, it doesn't matter who Satoshi Nakamoto is or who they are. It doesn't matter. What matters is that this technology was brought forth just like the internet was brought forth. Now, when the internet was brought forth, or let's back up a little bit. When barcodes came out, people started tripping out and they thought that was the mark of the beast. When the internet showed up, they thought that was the mark of the beast. Any new technology that comes forth that people do not yet understand or comprehend, they automatically assume, and the fearmongers go out and create fear-based content in order to get people to believe that it is the mark of the beast. Once you have an understanding and a comprehension of the technology, you can no longer be deceived that it is the mark of the beast. Distributed ledger technology, DLT, is not in any way, form, or fashion the mark of the beast. Instead, it's exactly the opposite of what the mark of the beast would be. Now, we can go a step farther because we like to have people out here creating fear-based content saying that central bank digital currency is the mark of the beast because they can just shut down your account. Well, that's not true because the fact of the reality is you can move to a truly decentralized ledger that they cannot control or manipulate. Meaning, if you take your money and you move it out of the various financial rails that are coming and into a truly decentralized ledger, they can't affect that ledger, and nobody can because it's truly decentralized. So coming back to Bitcoin for an example, because they call this the truly decentralized ledger, Bitcoin, there's no company involved whatsoever, right? There's a mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto, but there's no company. And it's all based on nodes that are distributed all over the earth. And so it is truly decentralized. But as we've seen with, for example, Canada shutting down wallets and blacklisting wallets and bank accounts and all this stuff, there are things that governments can do to stop BTC from functioning for specific individuals. Bitcoin Cash, which is the original Bitcoin, and I don't have any Bitcoin Cash, so I'm not promoting it, but it is the original Bitcoin. When they did the forks and everything, and we got to where we are today with the BTC that we have today, with Lightning and all that stuff on it, that's not the original Bitcoin code. The original Bitcoin code remained became Bitcoin Cash, and all Bitcoin wallets start with a 1, which the modern day Bitcoin does not. But Bitcoin Cash is a truly decentralized original Bitcoin distributed ledger. There's also Digibyte, or I don't know exactly how you say it, but I do believe the proper pronunciation is Digibyte. Digibyte, right? That is a genuine, truly 100% decentralized ledger. There is no central company, and it's all based on the nodes. All right. So there's you could if they were to create a central bank digital currency that all the nations, every single nation had to have and all this stuff, and they were able to control and shut off accounts and all that kind of stuff, you can move your funds from that system into Bitcoin Cash or into Digibyte or any of the other truly decentralized uh, ledger technologies. And so my point is, there's no way for this technology to become the mark of the beast. The only reason people believe it is the mark of the beast is because they do not understand the technology yet and they do not comprehend the technology yet. Therefore, any fear-based content that comes out that people watch, they not knowing what the technology is, not having an understanding or a comprehension of the technology, they can be easily deceived by that spirit of fear in that content. Once you understand the technology, you can't be deceived anymore. All right, now I don't know why we went into all of that. Obviously, somebody out there needed to hear that, and so there you go. Praise God for that little bit of whatever that was for whoever it was. Let's get back down here. Value and trading. Cryptocurrencies are different than fiat currencies in how value is determined. Unlike government issued currency, the value of cryptocurrency is dependent on the general population and how much fiat currency is invested into that particular cryptocurrency or crypto or digital asset, right? Several factors go into the value, such as market capitalization. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, market capitalization does not truly apply to cryptocurrencies, and digital assets because you are dealing with a technology, not a company. Okay, hopefully you'll understand that by the end. Okay, so such as market capitalization, media coverage, because again, media influences people's decision making, the technology behind the currency, and ease of use. The values of different cryptocurrencies fluctuate by the second, often traced on websites resembling stock exchanges. Although cryptocurrencies have their own applications, users can invest in and trade them like investments in a company or a commodity. A big factor that goes into the value of cryptocurrency is the ease of investing into a particular one. The most popular exchanges are Coinbase and GDAX, which allow trading right from a mobile phone. When a currency gets added to Coinbase, it is likely to go up because of the influx of new money that will go into the currency. However, controversy may follow. And then you can read down here how Bitcoin Cash, for example, went up $7,000 when it went on Coinbase. Anytime that you can get a cryptocurrency that has not yet made it onto the popular blockchains, such as Binance, Coinbase, Crypto.com, etc., right? The main exchanges that are out there. If you can get that cryptocurrency before it gets on those exchanges and just sit on it, then when those main exchanges bring on that cryptocurrency onto their exchange, the value will go up because more people now have the ability to invest in that crypto. So one of the ways that we have increase in value is a cryptocurrency or a digital asset suddenly being put onto a main exchange. And the reason is because the underlying reason is because more fiat currency is converted into that particular crypto or cryptocurrency or digital asset, right? So that would be how much fiat currency is invested in it. So here's the other thing. As people begin to wake up to the fact that every time that the government goes out here and prints more money, the dollars that are in their bank account become less valuable. They have less purchasing power. So it now takes more dollars to buy that same milk. So instead of that milk costing $1 because they inflated the dollar and it takes more dollars to get that milk, now that milk is $2 or $3 or $4, etc., etc., etc. All depends on how much they inflate, how much money they print. So, as people begin to wake up and understand how the current monetary system operates and functions, more and more people are going to move from the fiat currency into digital assets that can hold value while the purchasing power of the dollar collapses. So that again goes right back to this statement here, how much fiat currency is invested into that particular cryptocurrency, or digital asset. The next thing that it talks about is market capitalization, which I 100% disagree with, because again, you are dealing with a technology, not a company. Yes, there are companies behind cryptos and cryptocurrencies and digital assets, but it's not the company that you are investing in. This is something that the vast majority of people that are out here trading cryptocurrencies and all these things do not comprehend. You are buying and purchasing a piece of a technology, not a company. So, market capitalization literally has no bearing on anything. Instead, there is an X multiplier when it comes to market capitalization. And I'm not going to get into that in this video, or we'll have a very long video because that takes a detailed breakdown. But if you read right here, technology behind the currency, or technology behind the token, is what it should say. Because the problem that we have in this industry right now is that people are not dividing up the words. They call all crypto cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is currency. Okay, that would be stable coins. That is currency. That is a digitized version of a fiat currency. It tracks the currency of a nation state. There is crypto. These are usually technologies that are financial rails of the new system, or are apps that allow you to lend and to borrow and to stake and to farm and to put into pools so that there's liquidity and all these different things, right? Those are cryptos. And a lot of those cryptos are digital assets. A digital asset is something that increases in value with time. Yes, it's going to have ups and it's going to have downs, but when you look over time, it only goes up over time. Yes, major downs, 90% down, then up 180%, and then down 20%, 40%, and then up 80%, and then down, right? But with time, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it has done nothing but increase and increase and increase, and all you had to do was buy the token and forget about it. That's a digital asset. And you can take those digital assets, or those cryptos that will become digital assets, and you can put them into decentralized finance and earn yield on them while you're waiting for them to increase in value. All right, but getting back to this, it is the technology behind the currency that you are actually investing in. So a lot of people believe, and I do as well, but a lot of people believe that the XRP ledger will be used in the new financial rails, right? And this will be for cross-border payments as well as anything of value, because of the internet of value. Right now, what do we have? We have an internet of data, right? But what we're moving into is a new internet, an internet where you can move and transact in value. And so how does investing into a technology, buying the token XRP for the XRP ledger. Now understand, this is not in any way, form, or fashion financial advice. I do not give financial advice. I try to educate the general public, or the public at large, into what crypto is and cryptocurrencies and digital assets are, and this new digital realm, this final frontier, this space, right? You can't see any of it. It's all digital. But what is it all about, and how does it operate? How does it function? I do not give financial advice. But if you were to buy XRP and XRP ledger becomes part of the financial rails, then investing into that technology, there's a limited supply of XRP tokens. And every time you use the XRP ledger, a little bit of XRP, a little minor amount, is burned away to never exist again. And so it is a deflationary asset. There is less and less of them over time. If it did become the financial rails of the new financial system, then these tokens, these XRP tokens, are going to be needed more and more and more and more, to the point that eventually every single XRP token will have been bought. Well, that goes back to supply and demand. When there's not enough supply and there's a massive demand, value increases and increases significantly and often very quickly. And because this is distributed technology and no central entity is able to manipulate it, that supply and that demand together will cause the value to increase over time. The other thing that they talk about is media coverage. Media coverage, anytime the media stands up and starts speaking about in masses in the echo chambers, because that's what media is, at least right now that's what it is. It's not decentralized yet, the media is not, because we haven't got to that stage. But anytime that the echo chambers, the media covers a specific token, everyone rushes into that token, and when that happens, supply on the exchanges diminishes and value increases. Now, a lot of times that becomes a pump and a dump. So if you get involved in that, you're going to want to get out fairly quickly and then get back in when it drops. But that is another way that cryptocurrency increases in value. The bottom line is, right now, most all of the value of cryptocurrency is based on speculation. It's people speculating on what is going to be what in the future. It's a lot like the .com bubble that we went into, where everyone started buying all these .com things as they really began to take off, as people got rid of their fear that it was the Antichrist system and blah, blah, blah. All these people started buying up these Crypto.com companies and stocks and leveraging on them and all this stuff. And then it turned out to be a flop, and the bubble popped, and then all of a sudden everything decreased 90% in value. And then only after that, a few companies, a few .com companies like Amazon, for example, fell 94%, and then after that bubble crash, they became massive, massive companies. The same thing, in my opinion, will happen with this crypto and cryptocurrencies and digital assets. We will go into a bubble because there will be euphoria and people will be all over this thing buying up every imaginable thing, and then we'll have that crash, and then the true companies will become shining lights. They will be worth amazing amount of money that you can't even comprehend, because you're not dealing with a company, you are dealing with a technology, and you are buying a technology that the entire world will be using, like buying the internet itself. But right now, because the financial system hasn't truly, genuinely kicked off yet, but it's going to, in my opinion, last quarter of 2025, going into 2026. But right now, it's mainly speculation that is bringing the values that you see on all of the various cryptocurrencies, whether it's BTC, Ethereum, XRP, ADA, or any of the others. In the future, however, it is going to be supply and demand, and again, it is a decentralized ledger technology, or DLT, and because it is decentralized, it cannot be manipulated. In other words, it's immutable. No central entity, no powerful person can come in and manipulate it. It is logged piece by piece by piece. In fact, if you go over here to this article right here, let me scroll up here. The Crypto Question, Bitcoin, Digital Dollars, and the Future of Money. And this is coming out of the Council on Foreign Relations, so you might want to pay attention to it. But if you go down here and you read it, what are cryptocurrencies? Let them explain that to you. You go down here, why are they popular? It doesn't really matter on that part. But come down here to what is DeFi and all this stuff, and they will show you how these things actually work. And any kind of fear that you have concerning the technology will go away. Okay, so-called, what are cryptocurrencies? So-called for their use of cryptography principles to mint virtual coins, cryptocurrencies are typically exchanged on decentralized computer networks, right? DCNs. Decentralized computer networks. Right now we have centralized computer networks, right? Between people and virtual wallets. It's from wallet to wallet. That would be peer to peer. I can send it straight from my wallet to your wallet, and nobody even has any knowledge of it except that it is recorded on the blockchain. Or I can send it from my wallet to the exchange wallet, which is still my wallet, but I don't have the private keys, and therefore they are the custody of it, and they control my cryptocurrency. And if something happens to the exchange, they can take my cryptocurrency because it's not my wallet, it's their wallet while they're holding it for me, and they own the private keys for that wallet. So I can do it that way as well, but it's always wallet to wallet no matter what it is you're using. But let's continue. These transactions are recorded publicly on distributed, tamper-proof ledgers known as blockchains. The open source framework prevents coins from being duplicated and eliminates the need for a central authority such as a bank to validate the transactions, because it is recorded transaction by transaction by transaction on a ledger, block by block. Each block has so many transactions in it, and then a new block starts. And everything from the very genesis of that crypto to the very day that you're in with that crypto is absolutely recorded, and it is immutable. You cannot go in, you cannot manipulate it, you cannot change it, you cannot do anything, unlike the system we have today where they can continually, consistently commit fraud and rob from the people and make themselves richer and richer. So I'll leave a link to this article so you guys can come and do your own research and begin to understand the technology. The more you understand the technology, the less fear you're going to have, and the more you're going to begin to see how free this technology is going to make the people at large all over the earth. But to sum this video up, crypto gains value based on its actual usage, supply and demand. Right now, we do have a lot of speculation, and we do not yet have the financial system running, at least publicly. It may be running parallel right now, but it is not publicly known yet. So most everything is currently speculation. But eventually, we'll go through the bubble, and the bubble will bust, and then we will be in the new financial rails, and those companies that are utilizing the financial rails or providing decentralized finance or any number of other things that are actually being used, there will be a supply and demand thing going on, and that is what will create the value of that crypto. So the best thing that you can do right now is to educate your own self. Educate yourself on what is cryptocurrency, what are blockchains, how do they operate, how do they function, and most importantly and above everything else, decentralized finance. Because we are moving away from centralized finance, from central entities controlling everything, to a decentralized finance. Yes, we will still have banks. Yes, we will still have fintechs, right? Fintechs will become banks. Banks will become fintechs. They're merged together. TradeFi and DeFi and all these things will begin to merge and become this new system. So you might want to figure out what is going to be a part of that new system and to begin today to invest in those cryptos, because they will become digital assets that you can then take into the decentralized finance, and while you wait for the system to kick off, you can be earning yield on them every single day, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, while everyone else is trying to get in, buy it, write it up, get out, and go back to the fiat currency, not realizing fiat currency is going away. No more manipulating currency. Fiat currency is not where you want to be. You want to be in digital assets. And then you want to use those digital assets so you can get a loan or whatever to go buy a house or a car or whatever you need, but keep the digital asset because it will continue to increase in value. You just want to use it as collateral, You don't want to buy it and then go back to the fiat currency, which is going away. Right? We're going from inflationary currency to stable currency and or either finite currency and or deflationary currency. So what would be the point in getting back into fiat currency? It's pointless. But every major content creator out there is trying to convince the people that that's what you want to do. You want to day trade these things or swing trade these things. Ride it up, sell out at the top, get back in at the bottom. All right. But that when that moment comes and that system kicks off, if you're not already in, you're too late. You can no longer afford the asset. That's how quickly it can happen. And when fiat currency goes away, those who are in fiat currency are going to have a major problem. Now, don't get me wrong. Elastic currency is not a bad thing. It is the best thing we ever created. But the usury and having a foreign entity issue currency is wicked and it's evil. And it is manipulative and controls everybody. And all that it is designed to do is to make the 1% richer and to make the populations of the earth poor. That's coming to an end. That time is up. Instead, now it's going to go to everyone. We will still have Wall Street, but now Main Street gets their opportunity, equal opportunity with everybody else. So things are going to be changing. What you need to understand is that these currencies, these cryptocurrencies, these crypto assets, and these digital assets are all going to increase in value based on their actual usage. So you need to figure out, again, I don't give financial advice. You need to go and you need to figure out which ones of these cryptos that are out there, there's thousands and thousands of them, but which are the few that are going to be a part of the system and which are going to be part of the decentralized financial system, and to begin to invest in those and then take them into the decentralized finance and earn yield on them while you wait for them to explode in value. Then you can take that extreme value that you now have in digital assets and use them as collateral to get loans or to do whatever it is that you want to do in life and to help build out the kingdom of God, the kingdom of righteousness. So I don't know if this has helped everyone or not. Let me know in the comments below. The point of the matter is, right now we are in speculation, and yeah, they're going to go up, and there are times that I do swing trade because I know the news is coming, and that people are going to buy as that news is coming out. But when the news actually hits, they're going to dump. And so I just get out and then get back in and just pray and hope that this isn't that moment in time when it's going to suddenly switch over. So do whatever you want to do while we're in this speculation phase. But the most important thing that you can possibly do is educate yourself right now. And research and try and figure out which are going to be tokens in the future that are going to be used and used in massive ways. Those are the tokens you want to buy on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis. Take a little bit of the income that you have and just buy DCA, dollar cost average in, daily, weekly, monthly, however you want to do it, a little bit at a time. Just keep putting a little bit more in, because 10 years from now, 5-10 years from now, the value of those tokens are going to be insane, like incomprehensible to the human mind, because you are investing in technology, not companies. And that is extremely important for you to understand. When it comes to crypto, you are not investing in companies. You are investing in technology that will be used by all people. You cannot put a price tag on that. If everyone's using it, the demand will be through the roof and the value extraordinary. So God bless you all. Get in the Word, stay in the Word, get the Word in you. Most important thing you can probably do in your entire life. But educate yourself and prepare for the new system. There is nothing to fear. And any fear-based content that you're watching, you need to delete it, get rid of it, unsubscribe, get it out of your life. You need truth, and you need understanding and comprehension of technology so that the spirit of fear content doesn't overtake you. We shall catch you in the next video.